Hello, friends. Welcome back. I really, you probably like me. Give you a little bit of advice right here, social media wise. I'm driving. I'm not gonna look at you. Watching the road. But I hate carving out times to do things where I sit down, especially thought-related things like talking to a camera about my life. Because a lot of thoughts I have come and go. I try to write down notes and so on and so forth. But it doesn't always work very well 2 days later when you've written down a bunch of notes and at the time you had a bunch of thoughts and you're like, oh, well, what did that even mean? What was I talking about here? So, solution, make filming easy. And so I run errands quite a bit here and there. And finding a way to film myself and while I talk and while I drive is awesomely easy. So that's why I'm driving. Let's talk about this. Coming to terms. Now, when you, or in this case me, try and do something, and you're not good enough to do that something, then anyone who sees you try to do that something is going to probably tell you you're not good enough. And it's kind of like a paradox, right? Everything's impossible until it happens, right? That's kind of the classic saying. But it's more like you're not ready to do something until you're ready to do something. And with that in mind, when I post my videos of me training basketball, for example, people always say, oh, you're not good enough for whatever. And that's absolutely correct. I am currently not good enough. But that's not going to deter me. So I think it's really important if you are trying to do something different, special, something where people might judge you on, you need to come to terms with the reality that along the way of trying to do something, you probably are not good enough throughout the entire process until you are good enough. And the reason why I call that coming to terms is because if we just have this excessive excessive amount of hope and faith that we are good enough, and we just haven't gotten the opportunity to showcase we're good enough, then you're not actually going to improve. So let's use a little bit of an analogy here. Imagine I'm building a rocket ship to the moon. My rocket ship to go to the moon is not good enough until it actually goes to the moon. Having just random amounts of hope and excessive amounts of hope. I'm sorry, I apologize. This isn't working out as well as I thought it was going to. Excessive amounts of hope doesn't actually help you plan for anything. Hope is not going to get a rocket ship to the moon. Oh, my rocket ship is ready. It just hasn't gotten the chance. No, it's not ready. And the reason why that's so important is because the more honest you can be with yourself and come to terms with where you actually stand, the better you can actually devise a plan to get to where you want to be. And so if I'm trying to get to a professional roster, not the NBA, professional roster, if I was good enough to be on a professional roster, I would be on one. It's that simple. I'm not good enough. And there's certain things I need to get better at, and I continue to train to get better at. And so I don't want to have a negative mindset, because that's not true. It's having a growth mindset. I'm sure you've heard something like that. But it's the opportunity to see obstacles as a means to get better at something. From an engineer standpoint or more of a problem-solving standpoint, it's just problems and solutions. And if you just have some obsessive belief that you are good enough right now and you're not good enough, then you're not going to make a team. If you go, okay, I'm not good enough, I need to do X, Y, and Z, I have the faith and belief in myself that I can get better, that's where faith and belief plays a big role, then you're going to have the opportunity to at least improve and potentially at some point in time showcase your abilities. So have the faith and belief in yourself that you can improve and get better. Don't just have the unchecked faith and belief that you are good enough currently. Have the belief that you can work hard enough, that you can devise a plan to get better. So with my training, day in and day out is a friendly reminder that I am not as good as I want to be. If I was as good as I wanted to be, I'd be a lot better. And every athlete has to deal with this kind of paradox. And it's really easy then to hear the negative comments and believe it, right? If you hear a negative comment and someone says, oh, you're not good enough for Division I basketball, you're not good enough to be a scientist, you're not good enough for whatever. There's an infinitesimal number of things I'm not good enough for. That doesn't mean I can't achieve that. And so if you take that negative comment and you compare it to where you are now and you say, you know what, my gosh, that person's right. I am not good enough. And that deters you or causes you to give up in pursuing your dreams and your passion. You're not taking into context the fact that the process itself of getting better is the process of going from worse to better or not as good to better. And so yes, that negative comment saying, oh, you're not good enough is objectively correct right now. Right now, I'm not good enough. Oh, you'll never make a team. According to my abilities right now, sure. But the question is, do I have a good enough plan to get better? Do I have a good enough plan and have the faith in myself to get better to where I want to be? That's the tricky part. Because you have to be able to be objective and come to terms with the fact you are not good at certain things. But also come to terms with just because you're not good at something doesn't make it a negative. It just makes it a thing, a problem. And then it's up to you to go and find a solution. Have faith to find that solution. So keep it short and sweet today. I wanted to share that with you because that was on my mind lately. Because I've been working with athletes and myself. I am trying to be an athlete. And that's something that's naturally part of athletics that no one wants to talk about. Everyone wants to tell you you're good enough. Everyone wants to say you're not good enough. But it's not about good enough or not good enough. It's about getting better and having a plan to get better and having the faith in that plan that you are going to get better. So I'll leave it there. Appreciate you guys. Take care.